Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. Literally just finished eating breakfast. Sorry for running rather late. I was making yet another attempt to increase the audio quality of my room and failing at it. So the problem is that I can't treat it like a normal studio setup. Like, there's plenty of guides and resources to set up a studio for, like, if you got a guitar, if you're singing vocals or whatever. I have to have a desk, monitors, webcam, and computer. And the amount of space and stuff that this takes up rather substantially changes the equation, so to speak, as far as audio quality. So I can't do what most people do. So I figure, no problem, I'll look up what professional streamers do. Yeah, that wasn't helpful. That didn't give me nothing. I mean, I've seen some professional streamers who have high quality setups as far as audio quality, but the problem is what they have is they're over in a corner. Like, they literally have their desk backed up into a corner, and they've got some sound paneling on that wall and some sound paneling on that wall, and that's it. That doesn't... I already have that. That doesn't help. And in fact, it doesn't actually solve the main problem, which is the computer. I mean, I have software stuff to get rid of the noise of the computer, but I'd kind of like to... Whatever. What's really frustrating... Check this out. So, I invested, I don't know, $150, something like that, into a whole bunch of new cabling and wiring so that I could put my computer physically in another room and just trail everything out here. I figured, yeah, that'll work, right? No. The worst part is I'm not even sure why it didn't work. I mean, I know the problem. The problem is the fact that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different items which are all USBs. And I need basically all of those to stream. Like, I don't need all of them at once, but I do need all of these things to be capable of streaming. And even though I bought some really nice USB boosters, which work for some things, in fact, my controller here, my actual 8-bit controller, this is on one of the boosters right now, one of the leftover boosters. It works fine. It didn't work for everything. And if it doesn't work for everything, then it's not a solution, because I need everything. So, yay. I suppose there's always the weirdo option, but even that wouldn't actually remove the noise problem with the fact that my computer's right there. So I thought, okay, no problem. I know what I'll do. I'm sorry, Max Time. I know what I'll do. So I have these big ol' cardboard divider wall things, right? Like, about 7, 8 feet tall, about 10 feet wide. They fold up. I've actually got one behind me with some soundproofing on it. I know you can't see it, but trust me, it's there. So I figured, no problem. What I'll do, I'll just set up that board in between the computer and set up the soundproofing on that and see if that works. So I did a couple tests. You know, I put the cardboard there, and I just had the mic running, and I listened, and it didn't seem to change the audio quality whatsoever, despite having a giant cardboard wall in the way. Now, granted, I hadn't, glued any paneling onto it yet, but that's a little discouraging, and I'm not sure I want to go through all of the work and hassle of gluing all the panelings to the board, and then setting it up, only to find out it doesn't work, right? Thank you very much, Mike Romano. No flooding, but much appreciate the sub. Thank you, sir. And if you happen to know what you'd like to put that towards for increasing priority in a future stream, let me know. Now, someone, Aethel, asked, didn't that the PC get really heated? Well, actually, no. The AC vent is over there. So if I set this up right, which I know exactly how I do it, the AC vent would actually be redirected straight to the computer. Now, I wouldn't get any AC over here. However, my excellent and good friend Gary gave me this for basically for my birthday. And that is amazing. You can't hear that. I know you can't hear that because I've done tests on the mic. But there is now a fan that is blowing on me. It is super quiet, and it's awesome. And this has been a godsend, being able to have a fan that the mic does not pick up that is on me. That is incredibly helpful. I cannot put into words how much of a godsend that is. I live in some place that gets hot, you know. It's going to be like 60 in the winter. That is a godsend, especially since I sit here in a coat all day. What's the fan? You sure you want to know? Yeah, it's a bladeless. I'll tell you the exact fan. Give me a second. By the way, hello to everyone. I usually don't say which state I live in. For obvious reasons. There it is. This is a Dyson Pure Cool TP01 HEPA air purifier and fan. It's $300 on sale right now. It's usually $400. No, it's a vertical. Here, I'll even link it. There you go, that thing. No, it's okay, max time. I've got the fan. The fan really does. I mean, if I turn it up to max, you'll hear it. There, you can probably hear that over there. Yeah, but if I turn it down to this, you do not hear that. You will literally hear the computer before you will hear that fan. That is an excellent fan. So, I would be cooled. Computer would be cooled. I'm thinking about going ahead and trying that. I'm going to have to drill a hole through the wall, though, because that right there, the webcam, is a pretty short cable. Or I could try the booster on and see if that works. Excuse me. And yeah, I actually have a Dyson vacuum, too. I know what you're thinking. Why, Lore? So, I don't mind paying for quality. The only catch is higher price doesn't always mean quality. In fact, it usually doesn't mean quality. Yes, Valvedrix. But Dyson products tend to actually be quality. And I actually used a Dyson someone else's Dyson vacuum for like a year and a half before I bought my own. So, you know. Yeah. Basically, Dyson is like the inverse of Alienware. High price, better quality. As opposed to Alienware. High price, worse quality. Anyways, sorry. So, you'll notice I don't have any actual topics up here. I'm just kind of rambling right now. Because I actually don't have any topics this week. I mean, it was Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. For those of you who don't celebrate the holiday, I hope you had things to be thankful for. Because that's a good thing. We need more things to be thankful for in life. I visited my mom. Excuse me. And, yeah, we saw Frozen 2. Oh, yeah, I guess we could talk about Frozen 2 today. I completely spaced on that. Does anyone want me to talk about Frozen 2 today? I can. I actually spaced on that. I even had topics prepared. Yeah, sure. We'll have a Frozen 2 discussion stream. Sure. Why not? There we go. No, we're not there yet. Don't worry. We also, we saw Knives Out, which is a Rian Johnson film. And, it was surprisingly amusing. And not something I would see normally, but, you know, my mom is a film geek, so obviously we watched a lot of movies. Like, a lot of movies while she was here. Oh my god, now I'm just hiccuping all over the place. Oh, geez, I don't know, Max Time. It was during a Loreweek. It would have been last week, last week, or last week. It was a November lore week. And there's only 3 November lore weeks. So. Whew. I'm trying not to hiccup here. Nope. There we go. Theater's going well. I wanted to share something specific with regards to the theater. So, we've been doing the Terra Faces, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't stress it. But for those of you who know what I'm talking about, obviously this is a lot of work. Even though it's just for, it looks like about 1 minute and 40 seconds of dialogue.
Welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
Thank you very, very much, Sinister Wing. Ever and always appreciate. Thank you very much for your support. And I will put that towards Pathologic 2, which is right here. Oh, I believe you, Max Time. God. Stop it! Stop it! Thank you very much, Uchiha. Now I'm stumbling. Uchiha Daisuke. Much appreciate the sub, sir. Thank you very, very much. And I've put that towards Outer Worlds. Thank you for the bits, Venters. You didn't tell me what you want to put it towards, though. So everyone stab Venters. So for the Terra Faces, we're actually proceeding apace here. In fact, the only Terra Faces lines I'm missing is from Galtori and Frieza, both of whom have to do center below. Zed Slayer, Shadow Machine, and Dream Whisper, who have to do left upper. Huanta, who has to do right below. And Giryoshi and Guido, who have to do center upper. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's less than halfway. Or less than half still needed, so... woo! And you got it, Ventures. We might even be able to play Suikoden 5, so I might not have to remove that from the list. Anyways, it has been proceeding very well. I've actually been very happy. I know this sounds like a strange statement, but technically, you guys are waiting on me. I say technically. Obviously, I could always use more lines. But every day for the past week, I have had lines to slot in and do. Right now, I'm pushing through most of Sildier's stuff. I still have to do Chapter 11, 12, and 13, and his stuff takes forever to process, but I'm going to get that done. The Count has started doing lines again. He's got some of his lines in for Chapter 5, which is awesome. I'm trying to think who else. A lot of people have been putting in lines lately, and I very much appreciate all of you for doing that. Keep doing it. Keep doing it until it's all read, or until we're done. Sorry, still trying not to hiccup here. We're down to the point where we even Random came back, so we've got Random back for being Kuja, so that's awesome. And let's see here. We've got... Yeah, by the way, I saw your message, Sally, but I didn't have time to listen to it. So I'm not ignoring you, I just haven't gotten there yet. Yes, next time. Although, I'm saving Zidane for last for fairly obvious reasons. Still need a child, an old man, a young man, a man, a dwarf, a dwarf, a dwarf, a dwarf. Probably me. You know what? I'm just going to assign Random Dude to myself. It's such a stupid, simple little thing. I might as well just do it. Random Dude's line, check this out. He has one line in the entire game. His line is, and that's his line. I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna assign that role to myself, and I'll just do it. I've always basically perceived that any male roles that aren't done will be done by me, which is why I'm trying to reduce the number of male roles as much as possible, because the less roles I have to do, the better. But we still need a guard, a boy, three soldiers, a Burmesian soldier, a crew member, a Vulcan, another soldier, and a young man. Those are all the male roles we still need. Then I need 5 black mages. 5 Moogles, Soul Cage, 3 children, and a monster. Then, now here's the really hard part. Then I need multiple female roles, and we only have so many female actresses. So I need a Clayran woman, another Clayran woman, an Alexandrian soldier, I need a dwarven woman, another Alexandrian soldier, and Mikoto, which is a pseudo major role because she's not a hugely major role, but she does have a decent chunk of lines in chapter 12 and chapter 13. So that's where we're at right now with the theater. It is proceeding very well. We are definitely in go mode, and I have been putting in lines and filling in red every day. And the more I cannot put into words how satisfying it is to slowly fill in the red on the spreadsheet. Like I can pull, if I pull up this screen very particularly here, almost everything is red on this one page, which is nice. Yes, Shikor, I actually did listen to your Luaudu, and I liked your take on it too. It's good too because you actually are acting alongside me. I'm playing the other soldier in the scene you're in, and our voices contrast fairly nicely. Absolutely, Sally. Like I said, we need more female characters, and I have a decent amount of female roles. Alexandrian Soldier 1 only has like 1 or 2 lines in 4 chapters, so she's got a bunch of stuff to do. Sand Oracle Satreya, she's only chapter 6. Water Maiden Shannon, she's only chapter 6. Helen Birdkeeper is only chapter 7. Darcy Skywatcher is only chapter 7. That's the 2 dwarves. The Cannoneer only has lines in chapter 8, and Mikoto is chapter 12 and 13, and those are the female roles we still need right there. Ruth, what did I have you do last time? Scroll up. Let's see, where's Ruth? She did... Where the heck is Ruth? There you are. Ah, right. You were one of my Vulcans, so I can't have you do the other genome female. Can you do a dwarven accent? I really want to fill in those female dwarves. Those are a pain in my side, let me tell you what. And same question to you, Saldir, while we're on the subject. Anyway, sorry, someone asked how do I maintain my work ethic. It's how I am. I usually think of life in terms of getting things done, like just in general. So I also find it satisfying to get good work done, so that's probably part of that. Assuming she cannot do Dwarven Saldir, I'll probably put her for Sand Oracle Satreya and just start going down the list. I don't think I've heard your Dwarf yet, Bragman, because I've been trying to push through Saldir's lines. But basically, in terms of... I actually left a message recently, and I stand by this statement. Highest priority lines, dwarves. Dwarves are the highest priority, and because we still got like 5 dwarves total. Second highest priority is Moogles. We have a lot of Moogles who only have lines in Chapter 8, but it's a decent chunk of lines in Chapter 8, and I don't want to voice every single one of the Moogles. And after that... Black Mages is probably the... Or no, actually, that's not true. Males in Chapter 9. That's the next highest priority. And if you're wondering why that's the priority list, the final nuclear option is I'll voice every NPC that doesn't have an actor. The less I'm voicing actors, the better, especially alongside each other. So pulling from those things just leaves random characters across multiple chapters, so... I don't have any problem... Yeah, I haven't heard from Foxby at all, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure she's just super gone, and that sucks. Which means I'm going to need to get someone to voice Beatrix. Which is going to be a pain. The good news is that Foxby actually completed most of her lines. So, you know, Mogmi, Black Mage number 3, the Purple Witch Woman... The Red Mage, the Old Lady, the Shopkeeper Eve, all of those lines are done. But yeah, it absolutely cannot be Bragwin. It also cannot be Galtori, because Beatrix has direct interactions with all of them. I don't want to tap Ryokami, since she's having issues as well. So, I suppose we should probably just go ahead and open it up to an audition for Beatrix. I need someone who sounds crisp, professional, and British.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
I also need someone who's not donating money to me. That's very important to me. Well, I'm not going to read that one out loud. But thank you very, very much, Cord. Much obliged and appreciate the support and the words. Yes, Sylder, no, you're not an option for voicing Beatrix. Sorry, you cannot voice your own love interest. And I've put that towards Fallen Order Court. Thank you. So, because, see, the problem, really, is that Foxby did a phenomenal job as Beatrix. Like, she is the voice of Beatrix in my head now. Now, we also need to replace Ruby and Way. Way? I think it's Way, actually. Like, little Billy over there, he needs to... Oh, God. BA11. There, we'll do it that way. Thank you very much for the sub, little Billy. Much appreciated as always, sir. Thank you. And I put that towards Valhalla. So, yeah, I need someone to do Ruby. I'm actually probably going to ask Bragwin to do Ruby. She doesn't have a lot of lines, but she has lines in multiple chapters. And I need someone who can do Texan. I need someone to do Alice. In fact, honestly, Ruth, I would have wanted you to do Alice before I'd wanted you to do Beatrix. Not that I think you can't do Beatrix, but I mean, Alice is just all over the place. And I need someone to do Way, which really sucks because she did it in an excellent way as well. Way only has lines in 2 chapters, but Way has lines in 2 chapters. And then obviously Beatrix needs to be replaced. Oh, I also need Small Girl. I forgot about that. Didn't I? Oh! That's why Small Girl wasn't under you, Platty. Because it was under Fox B. That's why I couldn't find Small Girl earlier. That explains so much. Here, let's just do this. This will fix that very simply. There you go. Bam, fixed, done. And that means that line is that roll is actually done, so we can mark that as red. Keeping track of this has been a thing. Let me tell you what. I have to keep track of a lot of things to do this. Anywho, I should probably stop talking about the theater at some point. As a quick reminder, we are now officially in the phase where you can put Patreon monthly stuff towards streams, towards funding future streams. Now, that post will be going live the 5th, that's this Thursday. What I need you to do is respond to that post on Patreon as a patron with, this is me, this is what I want to put the money towards, okay? You could just say, this is what I want to put the money towards if you'd really like to, but that's how we're doing that. If I receive a message from anywhere other than that, I'm not counting it because I have to do a little extra bit of paperwork in order to keep all that Patreon stuff straight. So please respond in that post. Like I said, that'll be going live Thursday because it always goes live on the 5th. And it's also patron only, but, I mean, shrug, right? And yeah, we have to keep track of patrons' usernames. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, that is actually a good thing to mention for those of you who have not heard this message. Yes, it's a monthly thing. You put monthly money towards the show, so it's a monthly thing. It just seems kind of logical. Kind of like the Twitch subs. Whatever your name is on Patreon, that's what I write down in the thanks list, and that's what I use to keep track of stuff. So do me a favor, and either have that be similar enough to your Twitch name, so I don't write you down twice, because that's already been a problem, and make sure it's a name that you're okay being here on the show, because I'm going to say thank you to you out loud and vocally. I don't want to dox anyone by accident, so I've mentioned this 3 times now. I'm just going to kind of keep mentioning it. So, name thing. I don't actually have a lot of random news. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind got the fact that we're going to be getting some custom difficulties, some camera modes, and a couple of things nobody cares about. And we'll get some news about that next month. Actually, this month, I should say. December, since it is now December. So, woo. FF7 had a few images posted, which, whatever. I'm sorry, what, Max Time? There are Star Wars rumors everywhere. In fact, over Thanksgiving dinner, which we had Tuesday, me and my family actually discussed a few of the Star Trek rumors. What I like most about the Star Trek rumors that are flying everywhere is that a lot of them directly and deliberately contradict each other. Given the fact that there's a very high chance that some of the Star Wars rumors are actually, real, it makes sense to me that we're getting so much rumors now, because they did have a real leak. John Boyega, actually did lose a copy of the script, and that actually did end up out there. So, if I was Disney, I'd be doing the same damn thing. Did I say Star Trek? I'm sorry, I meant Star Wars. They're the same thing. I would be doing the exact same thing. I would be going out and constantly spamming every rumor I could from trusted sources in order to try and dilute the market. So who knows what's real, right? Frankly, for a large-scale thing like Star Wars, I'd probably do that anyways, as a normal act of course. I mean, if you remember, they actually did that for Empire Strikes Back. It's just, social media and the internet didn't really exist back then, so it wasn't as big of a deal. So, Yeah, don't hide information, just spam false information. Yep, the more noise, the less real info gets through. Yes, Andrew. Most of the Burmesians have been kind of Eastern European so far, Platy, but no is the answer to your question. I'm still not understanding the thrust of your question, Max Time. So a patron wants to put money towards FF7R. Okay, so they do so. But then you say, until you get around to do it, and say to do it from now until you get around to do it. What? I don't actually know what happened to the script itself. I thought it got delisted. I could be wrong. It's entirely possible Disney just bought it themselves. And then, if they figured out who the leaker was, sued them into oblivion. I don't know, though. They didn't. They wouldn't. Disney wouldn't sue someone. They'd take them up back and shoot them. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater games are apparently getting remakes. That's also the rumor mill. What I don't know is if they're actually real rumors instead of, or I'm sorry, real remakes instead of, ports, which. He's asking, do I want them to post every month? Yes, 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 yes. I'm going to ask you every month. If you don't respond that month, doesn't go to anything. I have so much stuff to keep track of in my life right now. I cannot keep track of you and your patronage monthly as a separate thing, especially since that may or may not change in the future. You have to post each month. Okay? 100%. If it's not in the post, it's not going through. That's being ignored. Can you retroactively put Patreon money towards something? I thought about that. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any real way to make that fair. So, for example, I could turn to, I'm not going to name names, and say, would you like to put your previous Patreon money towards something? And say, yeah, let's put it all towards such and such. And I'll be like, okay. Let's say they put it towards Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight now has $900 funded towards it. I have lifetime figures. That's not the problem. The problem is some people have put in like $1 a month or $2 a month for several months, and some people have put in a whole lot more than that. Yeah, you see the problem with doing that. There is I have the 80-20 thing going on just like anybody does. And, by the way, 900, that's actually kind of lowballing it here, if you give me a moment. Some of my highest supporters, give me just a second. Let me just sort by lifetime. Give me a moment here. There we go. So, for example, let's say this, I'm not going to name names again. Let's say this particular individual decided to put money towards one run. Okay, so that's $14,521 that goes towards that run. That's my highest supporter, by the way. That's the guy at the very top. kind of breaks the system a little bit at that point. That's why we're not doing that. So I want to explain why we're not doing that. Wait a minute. Huh. That sucks. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about the theater one more really quick time. Shiryu, on the off chance you're watching this, I know you haven't been a patron for 9 months now. I know you quit Patreon. I haven't seen you on Twitch, and I haven't seen you on comments, and I haven't seen you on Discord. You've just kind of vanished. If you happen to hear this by some chance, do me a favor and get a hold of me, because, you know, you were voicing Kuina, and you're an awesome dude in general. Unfortunately, it is entirely feasible that Shiryu is another person we have lost, which means I'm going to need someone to voice Kuina as well. Oh, that would be a good one for Ruth to do. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I get Tessie to do that too. Anyways, point being, we're probably going to need a Kuina. Now, I'm going to be a lot pickier about Kuina because Kuina is a player character. So, I'm not going to require an acceptable mic for Kuina. I'm going to require a good mic. I talked about this yesterday. If you're going to play, of the 4 categories of characters, sorry to talk about the theater again. We've got main characters, major characters, minor characters, and one-notes, right? One-notes are easy. They have one line of dialogue or one brief thing, like, guy. Minor characters have a few lines here or there, probably no more than 10 or 15 lines total. Major characters are characters that are strongly recurring or have a decent chunk of lines. Baku in FF9 is an excellent example of that. Then we have main characters. Main characters have a ton of lines all over the place. That's why they're main characters. So, yeah, a main character, that is the only category I require you to have a legitimately good mic for because you're a main character. I'd kind of like major characters to have good mics too, and so far all of our major characters do have good mics. But I'm willing to bend a little bit on that one. So if anybody has a legitimately good mic and wants to try out for Kuina, let me know. Not here. Yeah, no kidding, max time. So, Tony Hawk remake. That was the last thing I was mentioning. Does anybody care? I'm just curious. It was a news thing I saw. My news feed, by the way, there's a reason I have no news this week. It's because my news feed was like, here's Black Friday deals, and here's Cyber Monday deals, and it's just, that's the thing. There's just frickin' news. I actually checked the news this morning. Cyber Monday deals. Okay. Like, the whole feed was Cyber Monday deals. I'm not even joking. Anyways, that being said, as part of Capcom's deals, they're teasing a Resident Evil remake. Now, they've teased a Resident Evil remake several times, actually. And I find that interesting. And they're probably going to do it. I really hope they do it. The Resident Evil 2 remake was fantastic, in my opinion. I just absolutely adored that. So I'm really hoping a Resident Evil 3 proper remake is in the works, because that'd be awesome. I guess we'll find out at some point, whenever they release that. Yes, Tony Hawk is under Activision, so it'll probably be a port. Just like Warcraft 3 will be. Now, real quick, a couple people asked me what qualifies as a good mic. The bottom floor of a good mic for me is a blue snowball, which still has some issues, but is a lot better than most microphones. If you have a blue Yeti, that's even better. But a blue snowball is the floor for a good mic for that to establish that. Okay, so that's actually it. What I was going to do was going to chop off here. I mean, we've talked for like 40 minutes. Well, they haven't actually confirmed it yet, Blue Wolf Alex, which is funny in its own way. I really hope they do some really awesome things with Nemesis. There's so much cool they could do with that. Well, see, it's a Yeti, and the company is blue, so I have no idea. Let's talk about Frozen 2 really quick. So let me actually explain, before we start spoiling the hell out of Frozen 2. Texas Hold'em, Nadoz, is my personal favorite. Although I also like 5-card draw. Now, before I talk about Frozen 2, I want to give you a little bit of a heads up on what's going on. So we're going to talk about Frozen 2. Then we're going to do the 2 streaminations. Then I'm going to pause early because it's going to be earlier than usual. But I will actually be back to stream Breath of Fire 2 at 3. So we're still going to do the second half of today's stream, which we normally don't do. But because of Thanksgiving and the fact that I already did grocery shopping, I don't really need to do grocery shopping this week. So that's the plan for the day, and I want to just get that out there really quick. So let's spoil the hell out of Frozen 2, shall we? It was, in fact, her sled. It is currently 10:46.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
10:46. I have no idea, Venters. I don't keep track of that sort of thing off the top of my head. Where's spoilers? Spoilers! Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. But first I want to see that donation. So this is your usual warning. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. And then after we spoil this, we will chop off, and then we'll come back with the streaminations for whatever's next, which is, for anybody curious, the next streamination episode we're going to be doing is Season 1, Episode 17, Stairmaster. Now, what was that donation? It was from If and But. First of all, thank you very much, If and But. Very much appreciate the support and donation. Thank you. And I will go ahead and jot that down towards Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. Okay. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. I'm sure that's plenty of warning. This is like universal shorthand for spoiler, at least in the States, Chocolate Rob. Like, I can just say Rosebud, or I can throw that up there, and people are like, and they immediately know what it is. I also have been doing this system for some time, so even if you happen to not be aware of the significance of Rosebud as a spoiler for Citizen Kane, spoilers, it's kind of, I've been using it enough that it's kind of been normal for my show. So, see you around, Cord. I think that's enough spoiler timing. I think that's good. Okay. Funnily enough, there's not a lot of spoilers in this film. Not really. So let me just start by saying I didn't like it as much as the first film, even though the part of the first film I didn't like was better almost universally in the second. So I didn't like Olaf in the first film. I actually liked Frozen 1 quite a bit. I put it in the kind of top half or so. But Olaf kind of ruined Frozen 1 for me. If I was doing my pluses and negatives system for Frozen 1, I'd probably give Olaf at least 1 negative, put it that way. Olaf is the snowball guy, the snowman, by the way. He wasn't funny to me, and he was aggravating. He grated on me constantly. If only he died. But Frozen 2 had Olaf, and he was actually funny several times. Now, I have since found out, since watching it, that apparently the actor who plays Olaf was allowed to ad-lib several lines in Frozen 2. Maybe that's why he was funnier in Frozen 2. I don't know. But the one scene that really made me laugh for him was actually, in the middle of the film, they go north to the Forbidden Woods, and they get behind the barrier, and so they're in the Contained Woods. And they've got the former Kingdom soldiers there, and they've got the former local natives, I forgot what they were called, the Akawadans or whatever. They're there. And they're like, oh my god, what's going on? And Olaf's like, don't worry, I'll get you up to date. And he starts doing, like, this riff where you remember Empire Strikes, or no, excuse me, you remember Return of the Jedi? Where C-3PO was catching all the Ewoks up on the previous movies? Nuch Vader! Like, he starts doing that. And he just starts riffing through Frozen 1, rapid fire. And it was, the way he was doing it was really funny. And the best part, though, is every now and again, like very briefly, the camera would cut to the people, and there's like this big, strong, captain guy who's like, oh no, Anna, is she okay? And like, he's just completely getting into it as he's reciting Frozen 1. I'm doing a terrible job of reciting it, but I really, really loved that scene. It's actually probably one of the best scenes in the whole film for me. But I do want to say, like I said, I didn't care for Frozen 2 as much as Frozen 1. First big flaw of Frozen 2 for me. Too many songs. Now, I actually kept track. There were only 8 songs throughout the course of the film, but the first half of the film was song, 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 song. Just rapid fire, almost back to back. Song, and then a couple lines of dialogue and an establishing theme, and then another song. Then a couple other scenes, and then another song. It was like, okay, I get it. You're going for the musical thing. Please stop singing. Oh my god, they're doing a third song. Why are they doing a third song? Like, no, Aethel, absolutely not. Now, that being said, once they get past the musical numbers, of which there are way too damn many, then the movie picks up substantially. Now, they do a lot of world building. You guys know I love some good world building. And they do a lot of... So, there's no villain in the film, which I actually like. I mean, you could pull it technically and argue that there was a villain, because their grandfather... This is the closest thing to a spoiler, by the way, although anyone with a brain probably caught on to this like in the first few minutes of the film. But yeah, no, their grandfather... Elsa, Anna, their father was the king, so his father, right, the previous king, he was the bad guy. What's funny, though, is even he is not portrayed as evil so much as foolish. And he's... I'm trying to think how to phrase this without having 1,000 people stab me with sticks. So he's portrayed as kind of colonialist, but not in the cartoonishly evil way, if that makes any sense. So he's still bad. I'm not trying to say he's a good person, but he's not like Jafar, right? Instead, it's more like, we can't trust these people. They have magic, and they have these resources, and we have to put up this dam. It'll weaken them. It'll control the waters for them, and that way we can go ahead and we can have an advantage over them in the worst case scenario. And so he is still a bad person, and he is the one who instigates the entire conflict of the film, and arguably the previous film. But he's not as bad as Hans was in the first film, to use a direct parallel. He's an exploiter, that's a decent way to put it. So that's cool. I like the fact that there's no villain. They lean a little bit too heavily on the Fantasia side of things a few times. I don't like Fantasia, by the way. I know. Go ahead, hate me for it. It's okay. I don't mind. I don't like Fantasia. I never have. And there are several scenes which are basically Fantasia in 3D in this film. I don't have much else to add to that. There is this one bit. So, Elsa is going north because there's this song that is calling her north from the fifth spirit, which, spoiler, Elsa actually is the fifth spirit. And so, like I said, there's a lot of world building. 4 elements, right? Well, there's a 5th element. They actually say that, by the way, that there's a 5th element. I tried really hard to contain my laugh at that one, because there's a 5th element. Anyways, so Elsa's going north, way north to this iceberg, which is where the 5th element is actually at. She's like, okay. Is it Loreweek? No, it's Elsa, as I already said. No, she literally is the 5th element. Elsa multipass. And she has this pretty cool song, actually. She's a good singer. Whoever plays Elsa, she's an excellent singer. One of the best I've heard, so she's amazing. And she goes into this iceberg, and the iceberg is... They're kind of vague about this, but it's basically concentrated magic. Like, the iceberg is made of magic, okay? Problem is, it is so dangerous and deadly that it effectively kills her. So Elsa freezes to death. But before she dies, she sends off a message, a little magical message, so Anna can find out what she has learned, which is the grandfather thing I just mentioned. Now, that's all kind of cool. Then Olaf dies. Now, if you don't get the point there, Olaf was a maintained enchantment, basically. And the mage who was maintaining his enchantment, which was keeping him alive, just died. It's actually a surprisingly touching scene. Because the guy playing Olaf is playing him like a child. There's actually he has several lines several times. In fact, he has a song which actually I hate, but he has a song that says all of this will make sense when I'm older. I hate the song, but I love the lyrics of the song because it's a child who is scared, who insists the way the child that's how he's playing Olaf is as a child. He insists that everything will make sense when he's older, and that's why he's not afraid right now, because eventually he'll understand all this and he'll understand there's no reason to be afraid of it. It's wonderfully innocent. I just wish it wasn't a song. So then he dies, and again, the actor portrays him as a child dying, and it is done very well. And it is very dark. Anna completely breaks down, because Olaf dies in her arms in a literal sense. He melts, you know. Yeah. Then she has a song, because of course she does. It's a good song, but it's just... no solution. Then Anna goes off, destroys the dam, saves the day. Ooh, everyone's happy. It is a very happy ending. It is an astonishingly happy ending. Because what ends up happening is destroying the dam and releasing the river removes the curse on the forest, which also frees Elsa because now the curse is no longer affecting the iceberg, the fifth element area. So Elsa gets out on this water horse, which actually looks really cool, and comes back, saves Arendelle, which I suppose I haven't mentioned yet. Arendelle was going to be destroyed. Sorry, I didn't mention that. It's kind of a side plot thing. So she saves Arendelle, and then she goes to live with the natives, whereas Anna becomes queen, but the two keep in contact with each other regularly and go visit each other every week. It is a very, very, very happy ending, which I'm actually okay with. Oh, don't mistake me. I'm down with, a good bittersweet ending or a dark ending or whatever, but it was actually kind of nice to see that no, they just get to be happy and things work out. Well, that was what was going to destroy Arendelle. Chocolate Rob was destroying the dam. I mean, Arendelle is here at the end of a fjord, and here's the dam. I mean, do the math, right? But it's okay, because, destroying the city doesn't happen. Well, it's funny you say that, Max Time. One of the things I read about the writers of Frozen 2 was that after they wrote Frozen 1 to be a happily ever after, and then Frozen 1 made a ridiculous amount of money, and they insisted on a sequel, and the writers were like, but we ended the game. Or the movie. Like, to use a parallel, it'd be like doing a sequel to Final Fantasy IV. Or Final Fantasy IX. Right? I mean, it's like... And that's why they were like, okay, what do we do? And so that's why Frozen 2 is kind of constructed a little weirdly. But yeah, you're right. It grossed way too much money. Someone go stab Remedy's Exion for me really quick, please. Just a quick stabbing. There we go. So Frozen 2... Now I'm going to say something really controversial. In fact, actually, I'm going to look up some figures here really quick. Give me just a second. How many of you saw Incredibles 2? I'm not going to spoil it here. But how many of you saw Incredibles 2? Let me start by saying I don't recommend you see Incredibles 2. Did you know Incredibles 2 made a lot of money? Like a lot of money. That's part of why I mentioned this, because it's just kind of like, really? Oh, here we go. Here's the figure I wanted. There it is. Incredibles 2 is the 10th top grossing domestic film of all time. Something about that kind of bothers me a little bit. Incredibles 2 was a decent film, but I've no desire to see it again. I think Frozen 2 is overall a bit better than Incredibles 2. And I mentioned that because Incredibles 2 just... Third and I both didn't... We walked out of that like, really? I mean, there were good parts to it, don't mistake me. And in fact, I think they had a really cool idea with the scene of doom. I'm not going to spoil, but you know the scene I'm talking about if you've seen it. But it was just kind of It felt very, very lackluster, especially compared to the first Incredibles film, which even to this day is still one of my favorite Pixar films. But Incredibles 2 sold ridiculously well. I'm actually curious how Frozen 2 will sit on this list. In fact, let's check it out. So far, Frozen 2, which came out like 3 or 4 days ago, has made 236 million domestic and 464 million worldwide. That's, hang on. Yeah, that's actually already in the records, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just trying to figure out where exactly. That would put it... So that may not sound like a big deal, but Frozen 2 is the 143rd best grossing film of all time, having been out for a few days. Like, we're not even done with the weekend sales figures yet. I can't tell you that. Like, that's a separate figure they track. Opening weekend. I can't tell you Frozen 2's opening weekend. It hasn't finished yet. Anyways, so moving on. We'll see. I kind of hope they don't make a Frozen 3. If they do, however, I will say this. As I mentioned, Frozen 2 did a lot of world building. And that's a good thing, because now they have places to go, right? So the potential does exist for other stories within the setting now, because they designed the rest of the world. So here's hoping. Anyways. Regardless, as of this point, so I'm going to go ahead and add something here really quick. The next film I'll be seeing is Star Wars. In fact, I can tell you the time and date I'll be seeing that. Pretty sure it's a Saturday. Oh, excuse me. Where's my Star Wars ticket? There it is. I will be seeing Star Wars December 21st at 2:45 p.m. God, that's just 3 weeks from now. That is actually less than 3 weeks from now. That's a weird thought. But I will be talking about that. I need to add that to the website. I'm going to do that right now before I forget. I'm going to add that to the website because we will be doing a discussion stream of it that Sunday. I'm walking in with as few expectations as I can because honestly, at this point, who frickin' knows? No, seriously, there is so much going on with Star Wars that it could be great, bad, or everything in between. So I really have no expectations. It's going to be a thing. So yeah, on the 22nd, 3 weeks from today, we will have our spoiler discussion about that. I'll go ahead and add that to the website there. Should be live. I like parts of TLJ. I shouldn't say that. That's violating my own rule. All right, so, but here's the reason I brought that up. So Star Wars is in less than 3 weeks. And then people have paid money for me to see Sonic. That's in February. And then that's it for movies for me. Like, what the hell's coming out in 2020? I guess there's the Black Widow film is apparently coming out in 2020. I'm not even seeing Dune on this list. Oh, never mind. There it is. Dune. So I guess we could see Dune. I mean, I don't even know how accurate this list is. These don't even have release dates, so I'm just kind of going off of whatever here. But yeah, my point is, for probably the first time in my life for years and years and years and years, I don't have any big title I'm actually looking forward to, film-wise. So it's like, I have no idea what's. I know there's the live-action Mulan, which I will not be seeing. There is Wonder Woman 84, which I haven't decided on. Black Widow, which I'm actually very, very mediocre on. In fact, I probably will only see that if I am paid to see that, to be completely blunt. Onward, which I have no interest in. So there's actually two Pixar films coming out next year. Hang on. There's Onwards, which... And then there's Soul, which... Hang on, let's look up Wonder Woman 84 really quick. Oh, I'm sure Max Time. It would be stupid for them not to, especially given where they're going. There we go. Wonder Woman 84. Conflict with the Soviet Union during the Cold War, and she encounters Cheetah? Really? I don't even recognize the actress who's playing Cheetah. I liked the first Wonder Woman, even though it kind of went right towards the end there. But I did like the first Wonder Woman. Yeah, I noticed Maxwell Lord is going to be in it, which is interesting. Don't recognize the guy who's playing him. Yeah, I don't recognize this guy. I don't know who he is. Is there a Star Wars film coming out next year? I haven't heard anything. Like, I thought they had put the Star Wars film franchise on ice for a bit. Either that, or they're making them and just not releasing info about them, which is entirely possible. But yeah, the Marvel stuff... The Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff are both focusing more on television, which makes sense, because Disney Plus just came out. Not really, Max Time? I mean, Eternals, okay, sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Red. Much appreciate the sub as always, sir. Thank you. And I assume you want to put that towards head on. I'm just going to assume that. Is that a good assumption? The Empire's nice. It's very Frozen. I mean, spacing out Star Wars movies makes sense for financial reasons and creative reasons. Oh, you know what? There is actually one film I kind of want to see just for myself next year. Can anyone guess what it is? It's none of the ones I've mentioned so far. It's not Dr. Dolittle. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. It's not Cats. They're having another Minions film? I hate Minions, by the way. Like, actively dislike them. They are not funny to me. Despicable Me, okay. Gru was alright. Then they made Despicable Me 2, and Despicable Me 3, and then Minions, and Minions 2, and I believe this is Minions 3 now. I'm actually not 100% on that, but my niece doesn't like Minions. What more do I need to say? No, the movie I'm actually kind of looking forward to next year is Top Gun. They're doing a new Top Gun film. It's a sequel, not a reboot, not a remaster. I'm actually kind of curious on that one. I like Top Gun 1 plenty. Apparently Val Kilmer will be back. I hope he lost some weight. My God. Ed Harris will be there. Obviously, Jennifer Connelly, Tom Cruise, Miles Teller. Oh, that's right. They are doing a new Bill and Ted film. Okay, I'll add that because I'm actually kind of want to see the new Bill and Ted film. I liked Bill and Ted 1 a lot. Like, I think Bill and Ted 1 has stood the test of time surprisingly well, given how ridiculous and stupid it really is. Bill and Ted 2, I think they dropped the ball a lot on that one, but I'd still call it a good film. Just, bottom level of good. So I'm kind of curious on Bill and Ted 3. And I do legitimately like Keanu Reeves, and I always have, so that's nothing new. You remember when it was really popular to make fun of Keanu Reeves? You remember that? We've kind of switched around on that, haven't we? Because now Keanu Reeves is like the golden boy in Hollywood. But yeah, my hope... So the reason I'm kind of interested in... Oh, Keanu Reeves is a total goofball, Mike Romano. Even now. That man is a Dorcas, and I love it. He could totally do Bill and Ted now. But my hope is that it absolutely embraces the ridiculous. That's my hope for Bill and Ted 3. True enough, Shikor. Oh yeah, I suppose John Wick 4 is going to be coming out sometime because they've already set that one up, haven't they? We're done discussing Frozen. I should probably put down the spoilers thing. Boop. There. There we go. Where is it? John Wick 4. John Wick 4. Trying to find. Here it is. Yep. John Wick 4 is apparently coming out in 2021. So. Keanu appeared in Toy Story 4, and he was awesome in it, by the way. Can I just say, by the way, I highly recommend Toy Story 4. That film would... that one got me. Like, it was a very funny film. And it had its usual good Toy Story moments, but that film made me laugh a lot. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Getting way off topic here. Why don't we go and do those Streaminations things so I can actually play Breath of Fire 2 tonight? Listen for Shikor. Wait, your stream kept freezing during the Frozen 2 discussion? As usual, got my timer here. I got to set it up because I've been doing laundry this week. There we go. Now enduring the monotony of middle-aged life, Bill S. Preston and Theodore Ted Logan are warned by a visitor from the future of the need for them to create the song that will save all life on Earth and the entire universe. So they work with their families, friends, and musicians to complete the task. Oh, dude! Sorry, William Sadler is returning as the Grim Reaper. I'm actually a really big fan of William Sadler. He appears, unfortunately, like, not a lot, but he's awesome every time I see him. If you don't know who William Sadler is, probably the most likely thing you'd recognize him from, off the top of my head, would be Luther Sloan from Section 31 in Deep Space Nine. He's done quite a bit of small roles, and he's actually a really good actor in pretty much all of them. Yeah, he was in Shawshank Redemption. He was in The Green Mile. He was in Die Hard 2 as the villain. which was actually one of his earliest films, by the way. The Die Hard 2 thing. Oh, I know, Salder. Anyway, sorry. Let's get on with this. Whoops, no, I don't want to close that tab. So, we're doing My Little Pony, because it's an awesome show. Today we are watching Stairmaster, Season 1, Episode 17. So I will go ahead and start the stream for that in 30 minutes as of now. I'm going to go ahead and chop this off locally.